type of presentation or something for us, since she knows that we were meeting about this today. I would like to hear her side.
Ms. Nowak.
I have not prepared a presentation for tonight. I'm seeing this presentation just like you for the first time, so no, I do not have a presentation for tonight.
I would like to hear a response on our current 5-year budget and where we stand right now. Thank you.
I spoke with Ms. Nowak earlier today, just a few minutes ago, and she said she just received the minutes that were telling her that they were having a presentation tonight. So, late in the day, you said, early today, Ms. Nowak?
No, I received it late in the morning today, but I knew that there was a presentation tonight. What I did not know is that there was going to be oaths of office.
Or what?
Oaths of office.
Okay.
That I did not know.
So that was not in what you received?
It was in the notes. It was in the bottom of one of the pages, but I hadn't read it because I was working on something that's due tomorrow. So I was working on that all day and I did not look at that. So I received it probably around 12:30 or so, late in the morning, early afternoon.
So when do we have the meeting? When do we have the meeting?
Monday, on the 23rd, November
No other
23rd.
opportunity to give to Dr. Lovett?
I gave that, I brought it in, I sent you an email when I did. I brought it in the morning after. So it was in the board office the morning after the meeting.
Right, but Ms. Nowak was out until Monday. Okay, that's what it is.
Oh, because of
Ms.
the
East would
holiday?
not have seen that, Ms. Nowak.
Excuse me?
Ms. East would not have seen the minutes.
Was it, well, actually, I got it from her, so it was under her door. Is that how you left it? So that it was under her door when she came in, and she gave it to me today.
So I didn't know when she came in the day after we had the meeting.
That would have been
Is that what you're saying?
That it, whatever day Dr. Poviak
I
dropped it
was
off.
told that she was not in that day, was not coming in that day.
Ms. East, not Ms. Nowak.
Ms. East. And I didn't know, and people I asked didn't know whether she was intending to come in the next day. But that's why I sent the email to everyone saying that that's where the notes were, so that people would know, so that anyone who was in the office would have the option of looking for it and would know where.
I think
This notice had already gone out. Am I correct?
That's correct.
It had gone out prior to that, because otherwise we wouldn't have had the notice for that.
Well, I do know what I'm saying is I would like to hear from our treasurer. The reason why is because at our last regular board meeting, our treasurer was present. And she knew that these items had been tabled several times. And that I would expect a response to this, something to bring to the board to convince us why we should pass these resolutions. And I also would like to know, I think that is an appropriate time frame for Dr. Blahoviak dropping off the minutes being the next day. I would like to know, I know we did have a heavy holiday week, but were all of those days excused and okay through the board to be out, not to receive that? We have a lot of stuff to catch up with this finance thing. We're behind. That's why we have so many resolutions here.
To answer your question, yes, they were all approved. It's a holiday week, and they were approved.
What was approved? I'm sorry, I didn't.
Her being out of the office, as well as Ms. East.
I put Tuesday was
Correct. Correct.
Tuesday, so,
And they take vacations around the holidays because it's a short work week. They do. But I did give you an explanation. The day after the board meeting, you had a question. I responded with a memo. And I'm prepared to discuss the items today if that's what you want to do. Or are you going to?
Before you do, what do you mean by they take vacation around? Is this while you were out, Ms. Nowak? That's all I'm trying to figure out. Are you talking
No.
about Ms. East or yourself?
Miss East. Miss East. I had a couple of people that took vacation during the holiday. They combined it with the holiday. So I had 2 people do that.
That's what I wanted to know.
And I generally approve it because,
asking about the transfers and where they come from for an amount of time that's long enough that I can't remember what it is that I'm asking about. And our consultants seem to feel that it's reasonable for us to ask when the money was advanced or transferred, you know, and when we're returning, that it's reasonable for us to ask when that money was transferred or advanced so that we could have it returned. Now, it seems to me that there's a difference of opinion there between our consultants and between their opinion and your opinion as to expecting to know when the money was advanced so that we would know how long it had been in between the advance and the return and that sort of thing.
Dr. Pohobiec, I don't recall ever stating an opinion about that.
I'm gonna ask the same
Other
thing
than-
you'll ask me, put your mics up so we can hear you. That can't be on this.
Other than just presenting the items in the usual and customary fashion, but as far as the backup in terms of the history on an account, I can certainly get that. It's available. It's a matter of just running the reports.
When we had asked in the past, you had said that some of the numbers on the returns of advances would tell us when the money was advanced, and some of them wouldn't. And my memory of it, which is, of course, is fallible, was that you said that you really couldn't tell us when the money was advanced.
No, I can run a report and get the report, but you can also tell from what you see in front of you. The cost center typically designates the year of the grant.
But you said that there were some numbers that you could, and some numbers that you couldn't.
Some, we'd have to look further into the records to give you a precise date. But you can tell by looking at those what year they affect. I can tell you what years are affected. But if you wanted a precise date, like October 25th, 2015, I would have to look that up.
How can we tell the dates that they were making? Tell me that, by looking at this.
You can tell the years by the cost centers. The cost centers are the numbers that begin with a 9,000.
Are we supposed to know that?
Well, I did explain that, but it's a lot of numbers, and
I know.
it's not something that is easy to remember.
Right, you've told us that before, but wouldn't it be just as easy to tell us when the money was advanced?
Well,
And why would you have to go through a lot of records if you know what
I
year
have
was
to,
done?
what I'm saying is, if you want to know if it was advanced October 25th, 2015,
That's it.
I would have to look that up. I can't tell you without looking that up, but I can look that up. It would just take time to do that, that's all.
And you see what problems we have with it.
Yes, I do.
Last year, remember what happened? We had so many that had been out for 4 or 5 years that should have been returned. So now we're wondering, are these new ones, are these old
No,
ones?
these,
When did they go in? When are they coming out? I think if you want us to feel more comfortable about, what you give us, just give us more information. I think that's what we're all asking for.
well, I can give you more information, but I do want to add
Mm-hmm.
that the items that are before you were necessary in order to close the fiscal year. So they've been before you since June.
I can believe that.
And they were necessary to make sure that our books were closed properly. And those were corrections that were still being made at that time.
Ms. Nowak, I understand what
So
you're saying.
that's-
I'm not saying this to be negative or anything. But if you keep giving it to us till July, has it ever dawned on you to say, what else could I do that will make them feel comfortable in passing it?
Well,
You just keep giving it back to us the same way, and we keep saying no the same way. That doesn't even make sense.
Dr. Keenan, all due respect, what I was told is that you were waiting for the financial consultants, so I wasn't going to change it. The only thing that I have changed are the advances and transfers that affect the fiscal year that we're in, because as we need to make an advance, I add it to the list, because I can't close the books for the month with a negative balance, so I have to make an advance, and I would add that.
Excuse me, but when we talk about closing the fiscal month or the fiscal year, excuse me, I don't understand why you keep bringing that up right now when, like the presentation said, we've had things backed up from back in '07. When I look at these call numbers that you're saying here that start with 9,000, there's numbers on here with 00, which makes me think that they're back in 2000. I see a 02, I see 03, I see 14, 15, 01. So I don't understand. This is where a concern is happening.
Those are the ones I'm telling you about that were corrections that we tried to fix prior to closing the fiscal year. But you've got two resolutions there. One is for 2014-15, another one is for 15-16. The ones for 15-16, I'm going to keep giving those to you because what I don't want is a repeat of what's happened in a prior year.
But we
Are
were
these
told,
00, are these from year 2000?
Yes, they are. Yes, they
You
are.
gotta be kidding me.
No, I'm not.
Really?
Those are items that should have been advanced back, returned in those years, or they're correcting entries where they've been in the wrong account.
I was
Some
like, so
of
why
them-
weren't they returned when they were supposed to?
Because they just weren't. They weren't done. They should have been done. They weren't done. We didn't find them. As we found them, we reported them to bring them to
and
you.
we were told at a
They-
previous
no,
meeting
they
that
were-
the ones,
They were
all
on the
taken
books,
care of back
but
at least
they-
to 2007.
Excuse me,
No, we have
she
2003.
was answering my question, I just let
They
her
were,
finish,
they were
please.
on the books, but we were going through each fund, one fund at a time. So as they were being found, we were bringing the resolutions to you. But we didn't stop looking for the tough ones that went back and forth more than 2 or 3 or 4 times. Those took longer for us to find. Those are what you see before you for 2014 and 15.
And who told you we were waiting on fiscal persons before we could get the right answer?
Well, the board, generally speaking, has said that at the board meetings, that you want your fiscal consultants to be present to speak on this.
We've asked for explanation every month in our committee meeting. We have asked for explanations.
Well, and I've given explanations, but they've not been to your satisfaction.
And you're absolutely correct. They're not, you're correct. They're not. That's why we have the consultants. And that's why we have this paper here today that we're still, don't hesitate to pass because we don't trust the numbers.
I'm going to keep trying to give you an explanation until I get these passed. I mean, I'm not going to give up trying to explain it. I know that with each explanation, I think you pick up something a little bit more, but I also think it generates another question. I don't know how I'm going to be able to impart this upon you, but I'm going to keep trying.
One of the things that we've been asking repeatedly is when these advances were made. And my understanding was that we would find, your expectation was that we would find no more advances prior to 2007 that hadn't been returned. And here we are.
When?
I don't remember which meeting. I
Because
don't remember which.
But we were
Sure,
told that
that
they were
is
all,
but we didn't pass the resolution.
Regardless, these are before 2007.
But those were presented in June, and they were tabled. I keep bringing those before you because they need to be passed. And had they been passed in June, it would be over with.
Ms. Nowak,
Yes,
I'm asking you to please, when you give us advances, tell us where they go, why are we doing this, return of advances? When did we put the money in there, so we'll know when we put it back? We just want a trail, you know, we just don't want you to hand us a sheet and say, okay, I need to put $222,000 in this fund. Why? We want to know why. That's the only, that we feel that we can be fiscally responsible. Look, that's the only way.
all
We
right.
can't just, it's not that we don't trust you, it's just that you're not giving us enough information.
I'll be happy to do that. I will do that.
Okay.
Can I ask, how come they were in the wrong accounts? I mean, does that have an impact?
Hold your mic up, please.
Why were they in the wrong accounts?
Well, if they were, some of them were in the wrong accounts, and it was simply an error. It was simply an error where money was recorded in the wrong grant, and the advance wasn't returned because the grant didn't need the money. And when the grant was closed out, it was a matter of not checking the balance to see if there was a positive balance.
So that was only
It was
one
an error.
fund,
It was
that,
an error.
so that was only one time money was put in the wrong fund, one time, because, I mean, because we know it's been more than a error,
No.
right?
No.
So
I'm
it was
just
only one time?
No, I'm just explaining that that is an error, but that is not every instance. That is not every instance.
That's,
But these are errors, these are things that should have been returned, and possibly advances in the correct fund that just inadvertently were not returned. But there were also others where an advance was made into a fund and they just simply used the wrong number. Just instead of 9014, they put it in 9015.
Who is they?
Who would do that?
This is your
This would
department.
be, yes, it would be my
That's a
department.
big error, because if they put it in the wrong.
That is true. Any error is an error, and big or small, people make errors. So bigger, it's a
Do you mean you
departmental
make
error.
errors because this is you're the final say, so you're the chief financial officer.
My error
You
is that
write out,
these
so these are your mistakes.
I accept responsibility. It's my department.
From back in 2000, we have things on here from 2000 that need to be approved tonight. I don't even understand how we got out of fiscal emergency like this. I mean, this is like raising a lot of questions for myself. I'm just gonna openly say that. This is ridiculous. 15 years, this is 2015.
Okay, this is quiet for a minute. Ms. Nowak, all I want is one more column, that's all. You have your return of advances and date of original advances, your fund number, and your amount. And that way we can see everything, at least I can see everything that I'd like to know on these advances. One more column, and that is the date of the original advance, please.
so you have, I'm just looking to see where the other column would be. You're saying, yeah, okay, so
Next to
after this, so after this, over here, transfer, what is here? Because this is two, right?
That's a transfer to show.
Transfers two, and this is advances that was made from, so based on what what we have tonight, this advances is classroom facility safety road is coming from that, is going to that.
Going to
And see, I don't even understand what that is.
Okay.
a return of advance.
No, I understand what a return is,
That's from this.
but what,
We're gonna put this money back in, so come here. Am I right?
I understand what a return is, I understand what an advance is, but this classroom facility safety, what is that? Because you have on this other sheet, where's that colorful sheet you have there, Tiffany? Miss Fisher.
The appropriation.
Yes, see, when you have these, all of this stuff that you have names here now is something else on these sheets.
Which, it's, classroom facilities is Fund 010.
Based on this paper, I see
No, on the one in your left hand.
based on this paper, I see what number it is. Okay? On this, so now we have to take this second sheet and go through there to find this classroom.
Well, it's on the sheet
Okay,
in your
I'm
left
at-
hand, it's on there.
So my question is, now we have to go from this sheet to this sheet to find on this sheet what you have over here.
No, they're unrelated.
They're unrelated. Okay. So you confused the heck out of me.
Well,
I mean,
one
I
is an
was so-
appropriation, and the appropriation is all encompassing. It includes expenditures for
I had it right here.
salaries,
I had it.
benefits, advances,
See, that-
transfers. It includes all of those things.
And so when you put the money back into one of them, where is it going into that one? If it includes all of those things. If you have that under one umbrella, and I say here, this is the one umbrella here, the classroom facility safety road 2. Is that the one umbrella? And over here it's broke down, all that's under the umbrella, or vice versa?
Vice versa.
Okay, so if it's, this is the one umbrella. And over here,
Are the pieces parts.
so where is it going in under the one umbrella? What you're saying is, it's pieces, so we're still not,
Okay,
we still don't know where it's going.
let me try this again.
This is yours,
What's in
this
your,
is yours.
what's in your left hand? Well,
Go
not
ahead,
in your left hand.
well, it was, I understand,
The appropriation resolution. Let's state the Fund 010. It's the Classroom Facilities Fund. In the Classroom Facilities Fund, there are a lot of little pieces and parts. One of the pieces is advances, return of advances. One of those pieces. Another piece is salary expense. Another piece are benefits. Another piece are purchase of supplies or goods and services. Those are all pieces in that appropriation resolution. It accounts for what you might spend for the year in that entire fund if you add up all of the return of advances, if you add up all of the salaries, all of the benefits, it'll then equal the appropriation.
Okay, and I don't, so nothing you just had said,
Okay.
really, that's okay.
Let me ask
No,
a question.
No, not yet. You have on this colorful sheet here, in my right hand now,
Yes,
capital improvement fund titles.
yes,
That's this classroom facility? That's what's in there, okay.
yes.
Classroom facilities advances, I'm on the other page. Go ahead, the other page. The second page. Okay, it's on here. Now, this money's advances is coming from the classroom facilities safety road 2. Do you see that in here? Safety road 2. That's what I'm saying. Where is money, did this money come from, other than just from anywhere in that, under that umbrella? And that classroom facility safety road 2 is not written on this colorful sheet anyplace to match it up. And I know that there's numbers there,
And the numbers don't match.
but those numbers, right,
I have 004 for the first one, and then after that, it doesn't match the other number. So I don't know how to match it up.
And that's what I'm saying, and I didn't think it was just me.
Okay, let me try. to
I don't
see
think
that.
you'll be able to do it tonight, but
I'd like to hear
Well-
about mine. Mine's on it.
How much money, what is the value on the colorful sheet in Fund 010?
isn't it it's probably blank.
There are 5 of them.
And none of us
Okay.
answered the question.
What'd you say?
Okay,
5 of them.
all right,
Oh,
so
the
now
5 of
look,
them.
okay,
Oh, 58.
all right, now look at this sheet. And you can see these funds here, 901, 2, 3, 4, 9003, 9004. You see that? Those appropriations are the whole pie. This is only part of the pie.
What's on the front part?
The transfers and the advances, that's only part of the pie. The colorful sheet is the whole pie.
The whole pie being 58,000.
No, yes, you only.
No, it's,
Yeah, she's looking at 58,000.
The old pie.
but that's,
And
that's
so,
not the
and
one
so,
that's-
there's, right, and no, it does not add up to that. So, I mean, this is an advance, you're advancing this account, you're advancing
This is the whole thing.
this account.
This is the
14, is that $14,000?
Okay. Can we break this down a little bit easier? Because I've questioned at the last regular meeting, line 200 on the permanent appropriation. Line 200 on the permanent appropriation. That one there is the student managed activities,
Where are you?
Yes.
on this sheet.
Oh,
Line 200.
yeah, the bottom.
Uh-huh.
I see that.
I was just looking for you.
Now, it's kind of like, we're all asking for more detail. I previously asked, can you break down this account? Because we, tonight, a part of the appropriations were, it was a donation. It came in for the Shaw Band. It does not clearly say Shaw Band. And I understand this is a group, a fund. But what I'm trying to say, and I think they're trying to say, can you break down that 200 so we can see what's coming, what's going, when it happens? Because that's my problem. I don't know when that money is coming and going. The budget seems to stay the same. When I look at the permanent appropriations, September 28th is the same amount as November 16th, but there's money coming and going. And I, as a board member, believe that I really need to see detail in that account, what's coming and going, and why that budget seems to never change. I do understand when you tell me you appropriate more than what you think it should be at times. I understand that. But I need a detail of these funds
But
and when money is coming and going. The dates are not adding up for me.
the budgets show you that. If I print out the budgets, you're gonna have about 7,000 pages. Seriously.
Why not give it to us when they come in? So you won't have to do so much of it.
It's still a lot.
Do you consider those pieces?
It's, what you see there, the reason that doesn't move is because it doesn't need to move. It means that your ceiling amount of spending, there's a ceiling and a floor.
I
The lowest
understand
you
that.
spend is the floor, the ceiling is the highest you spend.
That's for that whole
that-
account. I'm talking about the individuals that are involved in the middle of this account, such as Shaw Band. When they're adding money, you're showing me nothing. I understand there's a thing, but there's a number of people in here, or groups, or whatever you want to say, organizations, or whatever. What I'm saying is, such as Shaw Band, when is the last time their budget has changed? Because they have money coming in directly saying Shaw Band. Why do they not have a new budget for themselves? I'm not talking about this whole 200, I'm talking about them individually. And that's what I'm saying, you're not showing us anything that's showing any, a lower budget for them or higher increased budget because of things that have came in or left out for them. Do you understand what I'm saying?
I understand what you're saying, but unfortunately, I cannot get across my explanation.
There's no
To let you
explanation.
know that it's all
I asked you to
included.
provide me
I
documentation.
did. I sent you a memo and I explained it and I sent
No, you didn't
backup
send me
information.
you didn't send me anything that says Shaw Band's
I
budget
did.
is this.
Yes, it did.
Where is it? Do you
It's
have
in
a
your
copy
mail.
of it?
Well, I was asking the same question, I didn't.
I don't have a copy of it. This is what this
It was in
is
your
about.
board packet.
Can you please, provide me with a copy of what you're
Yes,
talking about now?
I will.
Because maybe it's not detailed enough. Because I seen a list where you were trying to explain things, but I didn't see anything such as this for a specific organization out of a grant. And the reason why I keep bringing up Shaw Band is because that's the one that was on the last agenda. It showed no variance in line 200. So I want to question that because the other donation was the football team and it showed a variance on there. There's no I don't understand why one and not the other. That's confusing to me as a board member.
It showed the donation
Because
exactly,
I
that
already built
$1,000,
it
right?
into
Yeah,
the
it showed
budget.
1,000, but there was no 500.
Right, there was no 500.
And I would also like to see a lot more detail on our budgets. I don't think, and we talk about 7,000 pages, well, there's gotta be some kind of middle ground between 2 pages
I will,
and 7,000 pages.
I'll put something together.
I would really appreciate it because when we talked about it
See if
also in
it-
committee
like,
about this whole ordeal, it seems like, and I have to put this in the minutes, Madam President, our superintendent provided the information that the check was received. It seems like it went through their office, the superintendents, what they were supposed to do. But when it gets to the treasury office, everything goes into disarray. And we're not being provided that. I've asked her, what was the board meeting was the beginning of the month? And we've asked her about it previously. I still have not received something where we can be comfortable with passing these resolutions.
I have a question. You need these resolutions passed on the return of advances, right? Ms. Nowak?
yes,
COGC title, so-and-so school improvement,
Yes.
Title I, Title I.
yes,
Have you already moved them? Have you already moved them?
yes.
Then why do you need us to, okay.
To avoid a finding at the end of the year in the audit.
How did you move it without us? Look on page 26 of the, presentation tonight. It says, in addition, it was noted that the district posted for June 30th, 2015 fund-to-fund transfer from Title I to the general fund amount of $312,138.10. And I see that same number over here. Now, how did he get that before we approved it?
We have researched that over and over and over,
Research what?
the 312,000.
Okay.
And that has gone back and forth and back and forth several times.
Okay.
What we do know is that when we filed the final expenditure report, the Ohio Department of Education did not send it back with any errors. So we knew that the final expenditure report had to be correct. Otherwise, ODE would have rejected it, sent it back. We would have had to provide backup information to support the numbers. They did not send it back. And after a period of time, we also know that the grant money is fully spent because the carryover is automatically transferred to the next subsequent grant, which means all other grants should be at zero balance, except for the current year you're in and possibly the previous year.
So what you're telling us is you really don't need our approval?
No, if you don't approve it, I'm going to have to back all those out.
You
And
put them
then-
all in? All of them are gone?
But I can put them all back. If you don't approve it, I reverse them, put them all back, and then your funds are all in the negative. This cleans all that up. This document cleans up the errors that have been made in prior years.
Whose
But if you-
errors?
Ours,
Ours?
mine, my
Yours.
department.
Yours, okay.
My department.
Okay.
This cleans that up. If the board does not approve it, they can either stay that way, and the auditors will issue a finding. It doesn't make it incorrect in terms of the fund, it makes it incorrect in terms of the procedure,
Because you should not have filed it before, we approved it, right?
but I can reverse
But
that.
I'm just asking a question, am I right?
Yes.
You can file it, you cannot file it without our approval.
I need to obtain board approval, but I need to obtain it within the fiscal year. I need to obtain it within the fiscal year.
No, I just think that would have been a different way you could have obtained it from us. You've given us some of the things we were asking about, some of the things that we've been looking for. If you'd given it to us, we probably would have okayed it. But you kept bringing us the same thing over and over and over and over and over again, and we kept saying, no, 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 no.
And again, I explained that the reason is because I was under the impression that the fiscal
This was even before we had the fiscal group. That's how we ended up with the fiscal group. Because we weren't sure what was going on in our reports.
I don't feel that we should need to get consultants.
I can't hear you, Dr. Obey.
Well-
You intended to be heard.
I said, I don't think we should be in a position of needing to get fiscal consultants in
No,
order,
because it's costing us more money.
in order to
money that we need
understand
for
it,
these
yeah.
children.
And we should be able to get the questions answered when we ask them, or within a short period of time afterwards.
I have to say that my department still is in need of help.
But you know what, you've had more people in your department than anybody for a long, long time. You just started losing your people here lately.
And
You
we
had, when,
cannot-
during the
cannot
fiscal emergency, they put people in your department, and you had a larger department than anybody's school this side should have had. But you had it, because the fiscal emergency, people said, give you certain people to do things with. And I guess you counted on having all those people. We can't afford all those people, we just want people who's gonna do that job. That's all.
And
We
let-
have, what, 2,500 kids in our school? We're not Cleveland.
And we asked for numbers. I asked for numbers when I first came on the board, and over the 20 years preceding, the number of students had gone down, the number of administrators had gone down, the number of people in your department had stayed the same.